Hello, business majors. If you have already completed the introductory tutorial for the library website, you are now ready to learn more about the library's digital resources, specifically the databases the library has partnered with to ensure that you have access to the most up-to-date information for your research projects. Starting from the library website, today we're going to spend most of the tutorial going through a database together. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce you to our LibGuides. When you start at the library homepage, you can go to the navigation bar, go to Guides, and then you can click More. Arranged alphabetically are a series of resource guides that have been compiled by the librarians about their specific topics. There are two that would be of interest to you business majors. The first is Accounting, Finance, and Economics. And then the second would be Management, Marketing, and Business Administration. They each have their own separate content, but for the sake of the tutorial, let's just look at one. This would be the management one. We'll click this. Most LibGuides are going to follow this basic format. If you look at this navigation bar at the top, we can click Find Books. Here we have a search bar that's actually for the library catalog, as well as a list of books that have been compiled by the library specialists that they believe might be of interest to you. If we click Find Articles, we'll find a list of databases that will help you with your research. Internet resources. This is a set of resources that exist outside of the library website, so you can access these even after you graduate. And then citing sources. This is especially helpful for when you start on your research projects and you need to know how to properly cite the research that you do find in your search on the databases. So again, there are at least two relevant LibGuides for you to go through, this just being one of them. We're going to go ahead and go back to Find Articles, and we're going to go to Business Source Complete. This is one of the most important databases that you'll use at your time at McNeese. Now that we're at the homepage for the database, we're going to start by working on a research project together. For this, let's look at the Great Resignation. We're going to type in our search terms, Great Resignation. Now you could search with it written this way, or now just to be slightly more specific, we can group these two words together by using the quotation marks. Down, you'll see several different options that you can use to limit your potential searches. For now, let's just go ahead and click this full text box. That will ensure that any of the results that pop up will be available to us through the McNeese Library. We'll go back to search. We have 268 results available. Now, typically I would come down and actually change this publication date slider to make sure that we're looking at the most recent available data. However, because this term is so new and it's within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, all the search results are recent. Now, if we scroll down, we'll see that there are these icons: academic journal, and then periodical here. Technically, an academic journal is a periodical, but within the context of the database, periodical refers to magazines and trade publications. Again, academic journals are technically periodicals, but what sets them apart is that they go through a strict peer review process. Because of the nature of research within a business context, you may not always find the answers you're looking for within an academic journal. As always, make sure that you discuss with your professor which sources are most appropriate for the project that you're working on. But depending on what you need, you can come to source types and actually click these boxes, and they will limit your results. Academic journals are the most respected. Trade publications come in close behind, while magazines can vary in quality. For the sake of this demonstration, let's go ahead and look at trade publications. So these are the catalog entries for the various sources, and we can scroll down. But if you look here, in bold it says subjects. These are the different subjects that are covered within the article. I do recommend that you pay attention to these because they can be really helpful in expanding your search. But let's go ahead and look at this source here: the effects of the Great Resignation on labor market slack and inflation. So now that we're looking at the catalog entry, there's a couple of important things that we're able to see without even getting into the source itself. Now, before we look at the anatomy of the source, I'll bring your attention to the right side. Here in bold, you'll see tools, and underneath are a few clickable buttons. Most of these are to help you organize your sources or to save them for later. Let's go ahead and go to the PDF full text. this almost looks like an academic source. If we look on the top, it has a DOI. It has the name of the authors, but on top of that, it also briefly gives their credentials. And if we scroll down, we'll see this hyperlink here. What's nice about these trade publications is that the various arguments that they make, they are tying to actual evidence that's being cited. This notes section does provide information about the sources, but it's not your typical works cited or a bibliographic page. Besides that, another thing that separates this from an academic source is the length. So with almost any research project that you're working on, make sure you have a healthy variety of sources. This concludes our tutorial, but we hope you found this information helpful. As always, please feel free to reach out to librarians at Fraser Memorial Library and we'll be more than happy to help with any of your research projects. Thank you.